So I said I wouldn't do it. I didn't want to do it. I'm not 100% thrilled that I did it, but it had to be done, and I am talking about LED strobe lights on the Western Star. Yes, that's right. I put one of those crazy, bright, fast flashing LED strobe light bars on my truck, even though I said I wouldn't. And I'm going to put more LED lights on too, and we'll explain why. But while we do that, we have got to tow this here wrecked truck up to one of the main fleet repair shops up by Portland, where they're most likely going to strip that box off the back to be able to use it for another truck. Probably pull like engine, transmission, rear end out, stuff like that, because that's all good, brand new stuff. This thing has less than 10,000 miles on it, but the truck itself is totaled. Frame's bent. If you saw the video where I pulled it out of there, you can see it's all twisted and buckled up underneath there, and all the whole front suspension's broke because it hit a power pole, but sticking out the bottom of that power pole is a big concrete block. So this thing is so overloaded, by the way. Like, man, how'd it plow a power pole and the grill didn't even get busted? Well, that's because this big concrete block that was down here just completely obliterated that front suspension and stopped the truck right as it kind of kissed the power pole here. So we're gonna get this towed up north, and we'll talk about some flashy lights and what we got going on here, and where some more are gonna go on the truck. So when I made the original video talking about the warning lighting on this truck, I said, and still believe, that the old school rotating halogen beacons are a much better warning than the LED bright strobe lights, which I believe are a distraction. There's a fine line there between a warning and a distraction with lights, and a lot of these new super bright fast flashing LEDs way into the distraction category. And when I'm on the side of the road and people are flying towards me in vehicles, the last thing I want them to be is distracted. I want them to be warned that I'm there, but then able to focus on what they need to do, not distracted by what I have going on. That's why on this truck I put the old school halogen rotators, and I think they are so much better than the LEDs, except for one major problem, is that these halogen bulbs here keep breaking. And the weird thing is, it's the inside ones on each side keep breaking. That one's not up, that's just a reflection of the sun. The outside bulbs have never broke on me, the insides constantly. And then you got to take all these screws out, take the lenses off, change the bulb, put it back in, and then it does it again. And this is where I get the "I told you so" comments, because when I put those on there, people did comment and say, "Yeah, you're just going to keep having halogen bulbs break." And I said, yeah, probably, but I thought every once in a while, not constantly. So when I bought those, I bought extra bulbs for them, blew right through those, and I just end up keep replacing bulbs over and over again. And the problem is, yeah, you could check them out, make sure all good before you go do something and all your lights work, but driving down the road, the bulbs break, you get on scene, turn them on, you only got half your lights. Now those are not such a good warning either, and it kind of defeats the whole purpose. Now the amber ones up here on my cab have never broke. I've had zero issue with those, they've been totally fine. But the cab is also on air ride, and it's got its own airbags down here in suspension, and the cab floats up and down on that. The headache rack, where those ones are mounted, is solidly bolted here to the frame, and it takes the full jolt of everything that goes through the frame of this truck. In reality, if I move those up to the top of the cab right there, it would probably completely eliminate that issue, but I didn't. I mounted them there. And a big part of the reason I did that, where I mounted them on that lower headache rack right there, is so that the white wall of the sleeper was in front of them, and when they're going around at night, they're also lighting up that bright white wall of the sleeper, making a much bigger red kind of glow back to people coming at the truck, especially at night. But that only works if the lights work. So I bit the bullet, swallowed my pride a little, bought an LED light bar and mounted it to the top of the sleeper up there, so that it's, one, visible from all the way around both directions, two, on the suspension of the cab, even though the LEDs would probably hold up just fine to that headache rack. Now when we get up the road here a bit farther, I'll show you why I bought the light bar I did that I'm not 100% happy with, and I'll show you that too. Part of it is that right there looks like absolute dog shit. But I'm also going to show you where I'm going to put some more LED lights on this truck and why. But we do got to keep heading up the road, so we're going to go through Madras, Warm Springs. It's all beautiful farmland down here, and then up over Mount Hood through the forest. So we'll turn off our half-working halogen light back there, and like look at this. Why? I know why, but to do this nice wire harness here all the way through, and then just leave this crap on the end at the part that's going to be on the dash and visible the entire time, shows just lazy and cheap manufacturing. What they did is, yes, they have this, that they just strip the end off of it so that they can pin these wires into the connector right here. And then instead of doing something else to cover that up and make it sealed from the connector into the wiring harness, they just leave it. And then this here is the power and the ground wire that power the whole setup. And this is an auxiliary that's going to run the other lights that I kind of mentioned that are going to go on this thing. So why the power and the ground don't run back through the wiring harness and come out somewhere else to be wired into power? You just have to have now these extra wires hanging out on top of this, and it just looks like absolutely terrible. So I'm going to get some wire loom, and I'm going to cover all this up, but that means I have to have wire loom on here and either zip tie it or tape it or whatever. And like, why? I didn't spend $1,500 on this stupid thing for it to look like a preschool arts and crafts project. So off we go. So this is Culver we're going through now, and it is just a beautiful day out here. All the fields are nice and green. There's still all the snow up on the mountains. Very, very nice day. That there's the Culver Castle. And on September 21st, my buddy Jesse Bounds, who has 10-4 coaching, is holding a big business event up there. And if you're any sort of a business owner, a business manager, a financial person looking to get into business, any of those things, this is an event for you. There's going to be speakers like Keaton Hoskins, Brad Lee, Buck Wise, Adam Smith, Jeff Jessens, Jesse Bounds, myself, as I'll be a speaker there as well, Victor Rancourt, Sean Crane. It's going to be an amazing event geared to help out business owners, help everybody move forward and progress ahead, as well as an amazing networking opportunity. So if you have the availability, if you're in the area, if this looks like something interesting to you, September 21st, go to 104coaching.com and check out all the details there. Anyways, check out this nice view of the river down here in the canyon. So now we're sitting here in construction traffic. This guy's pulling one of them tiny home things. Every time a truck goes by, this whole thing just rocks back and forth. He like goes cooking down the road until he hits a corner and everything, and then he goes super slow. Kind of like what I'm doing with that thing back there. Right up there is Mount Hood. Looks windy at the top. So although I'm not happy with like the wiring setup and how that all goes on this light bar here, there is some things about it I do really like, why I chose this one. And then there's also one other thing that just really pissed me off because I completely got swindled on the deal. But in a little bit we'll stop and I'll show you, like, you know, the modes it has, why I picked this one, and the one part that made me the most angry. Instead of in a little bit, how about we just do it right now? So this light bar, as you can see, has a very toned down mode to it where it's just the amber lights, and they don't flash, they turn off, turn on, turn off, turn on. That's going to give good warning, especially like at night when the lights are really bright. Obviously here in the daylight they look dimmed down, even on this camera even more so, but that's not like distracting, disorienting, stuff like that. Just a nice steady back and forth warning light. But here in Oregon, tow trucks are allowed to run red strobe lights. So with the flip of a switch that you didn't see because I went down there and did it and came back up, I now have red strobe lights. See, it is a little bit faster of a back and forth, but it also has that same slower back and forth in red as well, just like the yellow did. But if you want to get really crazy, like I'm in the middle of the road, it's super bright sunlight, I really need to get people's attention, I can do this. I highly doubt I'll use this mode much at all, but it does have it if you need to like really grab some people's attention. Now if you did this at night, that is incredibly dangerous because then you're a huge distraction, you're disorienting people, especially if they got like wet windshield, stuff like that. That doesn't make any sense at all. Now speaking of night mode right here is the reason I bought this freaking light bar and how I got swindled. I mean, I feel I was swindled. Maybe I just didn't pay enough attention, but on the website, it said it has night mode, where at night it'll dim all the lights down at a lower intensity so that they're not so blinding and like distracting in your face. Cool, that's exactly what I wanted. A light bar that I could dim everything down at night and have it extra bright during the day. Great. So once everything was hooked up and going, I hit night mode. Nothing dimmed down. Hit it again, nothing got brighter. Back and forth 100 freaking times, and that light bar looked the same to me every time. I could not figure it out. So then I go through the instructions and I really start digging through all the details of the instructions. It's night mode for the backlight on the display, not the light bar. The light bar doesn't dim. It's that stupid bright the whole time. It's the backlight on the display, which I don't even use. I don't even hook up the backlighting. Because I don't want this lit up at all times. How that would work is if I wired in this wire, I believe, just another one of their stupid opened up wires, anytime the key is on or lights are on or however you wire it up, all of this is lit up. I don't want this lit up distracting more lights and distraction on the dash. I don't want that there. So I didn't hook this up. And now none of this is backlit, which is just fine because I don't want this backlit. All I do is reach over, flip this switch, and I have my strobe lights if I need them. And then this lights up at that point with whatever one I'm using. If I would have had this hooked up, then all this would be on like all the time whenever the key's on or the headlight's on, however you wired it. But if that were the case, then you would hit night mode and it would dim this down at night, not the light bar. So since I don't have this hooked up, how it actually works is if you hit night mode, then it lights them up in that dimmer mode. So if I want to be able to see all the buttons at night while I'm driving down the road, I hit night mode. And ironically enough, the one that doesn't freaking dim down is the night one. So I did not get the fancy light bar where all the LEDs lower their intensity at night like I thought I did. That's frustrating, but I have a solution. And that is to turn this light bar off and turn on my old school halogen lights just like I've always had. And then I've got my nice low intensity halogen rotating beacons as long as that one's not broken. Much better at night. So basically I have options now. And at the end of this video, once I get home this evening or whenever I end up getting home, I'll show you all of those same lights, including the halogens compared to the LED bar at night. So you can see the difference in how crazy bright they are and all the stuff they do. So stick around for that. But for now, we shall continue to mosey down the road and go deliver this truck. And I'll show you how I sling it up off the forks, how I did to get it loaded on this thing on the side of the road, since you can't get the underreach underneath it because the suspension's all blown out. And you can see how that works. Finally here. We'll get this thing unloaded. Okay. Off to work we go. So there's a good, for look at this one, the guy backed me in here. You see how the cab looks right there. This is how they're supposed to look. There's like probably 4 or 5 inches right there. And this is, there's no inches. So yeah, he said this one's going to be definitely total, or what they call salvage. What they do is they will tear it all apart. They'll pull all the good parts they can off of it. Wheels and tires, if they're good, not damaged. If they stuff that's been impacted, they won't use. Mirrors, the grill's done, the front end's done. And that's why when I said I lift this and it totally crunches it in and made this way worse, that's okay, because both of these quarter panels and the hood were already damaged and not something that would have been salvaged. So what you're about to see me do to unload this thing that did cause some additional damage, or not really additional damage, it just further damaged parts that were already damaged, is okay, because those parts are scrap metal anyway. And it made my job on the side of the highway quicker and easier, so that's fine. But if those weren't damaged, I would not have done what you're gonna see me do and what I did on the side of the road, because when it comes back to a place like this, they would have salvaged those parts and used them for other trucks. Like engine transmission will get pulled out of this thing, the box will get pulled off the back, the rear end, all that type of stuff that they can use to make other trucks live a little longer, or really a lot longer, since this one's brand new. Okay, so now we're going to run this thing out and then give me some free spool and put our boom out. I'm going to need both those winch lines up there. Could have idled the truck up and this would have gone a lot faster, but that's all right. Take it easy. It's nice to be out walking around. The faster we get done here, the quicker we just have to be back sitting in the seat of the truck. So a little slower is okay. I don't know why I put these away. I need them. So, what we're gonna do, we're gonna run this one through here without a zip tie. I know, magic. And that's gonna come up here to this hook. And then this one, since we're not going to that wheel obviously, we're just going to go right around this radius arm. And this one's going to pull into the body some because we're pulling down there on that arm, not from up here on the wheel, so we lose some distance, but that's fine. Pop these off. Come on. There we go. Roll this up. Can you see what I'm going to do over there now? I guess the lady who crashed this is out of jail and is calling, wanting her stuff back. So U-Haul called me asking if it was here yet, so they could tell her, you know, like, yeah, you can get your stuff and here's where it is, or however they handle that. I'm not sure, but either way, yes, it's here. So now we are going to pull our two lines in. And we're going to lift it out of forks. It hit a well, it hit a power pole that had a big concrete base, and the concrete base is what
did everything in.
Did all that, yeah.
We had one of our employees did that like 6 months ago.
Yeah, this is a new one. This is going to be in the way.
Well, I've been with you all like 28 years.
So you've seen lots of new trucks get wrecked. So you can leave that one on. I just need to clear that. There we go.
Yeah, snow last week. Sunny and 80 today.
Exactly. Yeah, it snowed on.
Make up its mind.
We got 6 inches of snow on Tuesday.
Wouldn't doubt it.
Get this up out of the way.
Long drive for you today.
Yeah. I'm gonna chalk the wheels before I set it down. Don't forget the light bar. All the suspension's completely blown apart, so it sits just straight on the ground. There's no way to get underneath it. So just pick it up, run that under, and scoop it. Look at the suspension on the ground. There's no way you're gonna get under that to fork it. And this is what I was saying, I use one super low profile fork here and then one taller fork here to try to help counteract the angle that thing is leaning at so bad. Don't forget the light bar. Like I was saying, these guys will part this thing out. They'll take this door off. They'll save like the door. The other one I think is too bent. The box, of course. Any of the good tires and wheels. Everything they can. They basically will be their own salvage yard and save what they can to use on other trucks. If it's good, if not, it's no good and it gets scrapped. Like that one there is a stolen vehicle recovery. You can see all the names been pulled off and tires and wheels stolen and stuff. So that was one that was stolen and then found. And from the sounds of it, I got a call earlier. I had to go do a stolen, not a U-Haul, but a private stolen vehicle recovery tomorrow. Back towards home, so we'll see how that goes. Put that one there. Stolen, if it can be repaired and put back together, they'll put it back together and repair it, but if it's too badly damaged, it will be a salvage vehicle like this one that becomes parts to fix others. It's called recycling. Okay. We're done. So, yeah. So let's get out of here. But like I was saying, I was going to put some more strobe lights on this thing. I'm going to put some either right here in the grill or like right here tied onto this, something that's on the side of it flashing strobing, because there's a lot of times that like I have to have this truck, it's normally the driver's side, nosed out into the lane to hook up to something off the side, and when the nose is sticking out, there's not anything flashing, no warning in this area. So I don't know if I'm going to put one here and maybe like in here or two there or what, but I've got some flush mount ones that are going to sit there and be kind of on the side of the nose for when the nose of this truck is stuck out in traffic. And since all of my switches here are currently in use with all my work lighting and halogens and all that stuff, this unit has auxiliary right here, that will be what will run those lights. So that was another reason I went with this, is it had the auxiliary plus the night mode that I thought was something completely different, and the fact that it's both yellow and red. I guess I didn't show that earlier, but I can run this light bar as a yellow light or as a red light with all the different patterns, like 20 different patterns in each color, or I can mix between the two colors. So if I go down to California, I'm legal with all yellow warning lights. In Oregon or Washington, I've got the red. So was why I went with this one. Just not 100% thrilled. Hopefully it works out and it's good, but we'll see.